Hello and welcome everyone. I am Dr. Asavri Sawant, Senior Sub-Editor at eLet's Technomedia, India's leading and largest B2B multimedia platform. And on behalf of eLet's Technomedia and the Banking and Finance Post magazine, I extend a warm welcome to all for the launch of an exciting new series, the eLet's Fintech Dialogues, in collaboration with the Department of Electronics, IT, Biotechnology and Science and Technology, Government of Karnataka. This exclusive series is an integral part of the World FinTech Summit, which is a two-day premier event by eLet's Technomedia that brings together the global FinTech and BFSI community. From policymakers and industry leaders to innovators and key stakeholders, the summit fosters meaningful collaboration aimed at driving innovation and growth in financial services worldwide. We are honored to have the Department of Electronics, IT, Biotechnology and Science and Technology from Government of Karnataka as our host state partner, alongside the Karnataka Digital Economy Mission as our strategic partner for the World FinTech Summit. This collaboration underscores Karnataka's pivotal role in advancing India's fintech landscape, creating unparalleled opportunities for connecting the country's dynamic fintech ecosystem with global players. For over 2 decades, eLet's Technomedia has been at the forefront of organizing influential summits across governance, healthcare, education, and banking and finance, propelling these sectors into new frontiers. Today, our focus turns to the complete BFSI sector, where innovation and technology are not just transforming operations but igniting a full fledged revolution. The BFSI Banking and Finance Post is Asia's premier B2B magazine dedicated to the BFSI sector and has been shaping industry narratives for over 2 decades. As a trusted knowledge partner, we continue to spotlight trends, insights, and innovations that define the future of banking, insurance, and financial services. The eLet's FinTech Dialogues is a series that celebrates trailblazing leaders and innovators whose fintech driven initiatives are transforming lives and industries. Today, we are privileged to host an inspiring entrepreneur who has been instrumental in revolutionizing the BFSI industry in India. It is an absolute pleasure to welcome Mr. Deepak Chand Thakur, who is the co-founder of NPST. Sir, a warm welcome to you for joining us on the show today.
Thank you, Sauri, for inviting us. On behalf of NPST, all the best for whatever you're doing.
Thank you. Mr. Deepak Chand Thakur is a seasoned entrepreneur with a proven track record of building and scaling innovative payment solutions. He co founded NPST in 2013, a leading banking and payments software company with a vision to simplify payment processes for India's top banks and payment aggregators. Under his leadership, NPST has grown from a startup to a publicly listed company on the National Stock Exchange, recording 850 million in revenues INR for the first 3 quarters of 2024 and creating 25 billion in shareholder value. Before founding NPSC, Mr. Deepak held key roles at Frost & Sullivan and Spanco Limited, where he advised startups on business strategy and supported Fortune 500 companies with developing robust business models. An avid marathon runner, Mr. Deepak embodies resilience both professionally and personally. He holds a management degree from JBIMS Mumbai. So thank you once again for joining us for this special episode of the eLet's FinTech Dialogue, sir. It is truly an honor to have you with us today. Let us begin our conversation now. So our first question to you would be looking at back at NPST's journey from its early days in 2013 to becoming one of the few fintech firms listed on the NSE. Can you share a defining moment or turning point that shaped the company's success as per you? We would love to know your thoughts. Over to you.
So, see, we have been in paytech segment, which in fact runs at a faster pace than the entire fintech. And then again, disruption is the core value of the paytech industry. It is very important that the innovation is the binding parameter for anything and everything that we discuss in the boardroom or in the organization. Now, that makes us extremely agile, and then at the same time decisioning about the life cycle of a project, the decisioning about what steps we are going to take in next 2 to 3 years is extremely important. uh, there are several defining moments which has come across. It's not just one. Like I said, the disruption is high in the industry, and then we have to be extremely agile in exactly what we want to achieve. So if you see, we initially started with empowering the rural network in India, which was a physical center with empowered with digital technology. However, we knew that mobile phone is definitely going to be the next step, and that is where we decided on moving into complete digital stack. The decision way back in 2015 paved the way, because if you would have stayed back with the concept of building just a network, we would have by now perished. So the decision around again getting into complete digital tech is something that was, I would say, a very big decision for the organization. Then building the entire innovation stack, building the entire technology organization, hiring CTO from the industry, hiring architects from the industry, and doing something which we never did. So although it was a very critical decision, but we knew that this is future, and that helped us. At the same time, sitting inside bank for a very long time, we realized that we are probably not servicing people who are looking up to bank. We are not exactly solving the problem, bridging the gap between fintech and bank. So there was no one to do that. It's a conversation going on in industry, but how do we bridge the gap between bank and the aggregators, bank and gateway, banks and the other merchants, and where exactly we bring the democratic structure around the digital payment? That was the second jump to the organization. This was somewhere in 2021. But again, to do that, somewhere 2020, when we took a decision to do this, we never had enough fund, or we did not have enough means with us, right from knowledge to technology, to the operational pieces. All we had was aspiration, and all we had was an understanding that this would work. And that's why we took a decision on going for an SME IPO, raise fund around what exactly we want to do in the new vertical. And that was the second such very big decision the organization took for the vertical which never existed in the industry, and for the vertical which we never had. Raising a fund for that from the public market was, I would say, an extremely bold decision by the organization, but that now contributes about 70 to 80% of the entire company's P&L. Now we are not stopping here. We are going through a transformation. We are looking at Gen AI as the next step. We are looking at new verticals. We are looking at the acceptance system, which did not exist. Thanks to our last 3 years of this journey around payment system, that we have actually taken this step. So when you say the defining moment, I would say that there are multiple defining moments. The decision around the next step and the next journey is something that helped us not just survive but scale from where we exactly started the organization, from 4 crore in a revenue first year to about 130 crore last year, and now almost touching about 150 crore this year. We still have one more quarter to deliver. So I would say that yes, uh, that the moment will keep on coming, being agile and being innovative.
For sure, sir. Thank you so much for sharing this journey, amazing, beautiful experiences that you have shared with us. On the same note, I would like to know, as you have shared, looking back at NPST's journey, if there was an opportunity for you to change things differently or do things differently now with the added knowledge that you have of all these years, would you have done something very different? Or would you be advising something different to those who are looking at you at the show today, who are, from a similar industry, from B2B backgrounds, and are looking up to you for advice in that sense? So, would you have done something different, or what are your thoughts on the same?
When we were young and when we started, like everyone else, we did one grave mistake. We wanted to do everything. We actually wanted to build everything on our own the IP. So the concept was very clear. We wanted to be a product company, and then we decided to build product. But when you build product, there has to be a decision around the core value that you're creating, what you're bringing on table, and the allied services, which is not your core but maybe for someone else. It was quite unfortunate that maybe at least about 2 to 3 years we were not able to identify, and we were trying to build anything and everything that was coming our way. So we could have probably had better margin, we could have probably had shorter journey, we could have probably build uh, something larger by now beyond what exactly we have done so far. So I would say I'm satisfied with what we have achieved so far. However, if we would have got a better guidance around the core value creation that we were trying to do, which is around payments, way too early, probably we would have been 2 years ahead of our time. So that's what I feel is something that should have come to us as a wisdom way too early. And this is what I would advise everyone: identify your core values, focus on that, do not jump. The industry in which we are working right now is extremely agile, way too fast, and there are better people to do a job than us, which is not core to us. So collaborate, work together, and and be part of the industry where everyone can come together and ensure that there's a value which you bring on table. Probably someone else may not be able to do that. So this is something which we did a mistake, not mistake but a learning process. I wouldn't want others to go through the same journey.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Yep.
Deepak, for sharing that. So while you were talking about, how the organization has evolved and its journey, and you continuously were mentioning about innovation, that how important is innovating yourself time and again was. As you said, you had, prominent points, turning points, not just once but more than once, and innovation and constantly keeping on top of your toes was something that kept the ball rolling. So, scaling a fintech company requires constant effort, innovation, as you shared, and also while ensuring reliability. So, can you walk us through a challenge where you had to choose between rapid innovation and maintaining stability for your banking partners? And were you able to choose one out of the two, or how did you navigate that decision?
uh See, to be honest, it's all part of journey. There is nothing, uh, there's nothing that you can predefine. As and when you start building the process during the journey, you will come to know what you're supposed to pick up and what you're supposed to take next. So whatever we have done so far, it is during the journey that the process has improved, it is during the journey that the product has improved, it is during the journey that the market sizing was better defined than exactly what we were planning earlier. So if that answers your question, to make it very simple and short, the focus shouldn't be moved from what exactly you're doing. And when you move ahead, the improvisation is part of the journey, the process is part of the journey which should be picked up, and the agility in building that particular piece. So let's say even if you're a tech company, your focus on compliance and process cannot be taken away, even if you want to bring extremely disruptive tech, or I would say deep tech solution in the market. So I believe a focus on your process journey, and ensure that being in fintech or paytech, like in our segment at least, anything which is not written on the compliances, ensure that there is a more clarity, no gray area, otherwise it can come biting you. So uh, yeah, that's core to what exactly needs to be built during the journey.
Thank you so much for sharing that. So, we have already discussed about looking back at NPST's journey. Now, talking about the future. So, the payments industry has been evolving dramatically in the last decade. If we fast forward to 2030, 5 years from now, How do you envision digital payments in India, and what role do you believe NPST will play in that transformation?
Uh, Honestly, when it comes to payments, we have still just scratching the surface. We are still on a mobile app and we are innovating mobile apps. We are innovating methods of payment in mobile application. However, market demand, consumer behavior is changing rapidly, and the way they expect payment to behave for them, uh, I would say in next 2 years, it will come as a complete surprise for innovators that whatever we have built in last 10 years may not continue. So whatever we are talking about right now, like embedded payment is something that everyone wants today. It is an inherent demand, unfortunately cannot be built up asap. However, it is only through the journey where the product whatever has been designed so far will become part of the embedded payment. Then at the same time, going forward, IoT is core to the technical upgrade which will happen in the industry. If payment is not part of IoT, then we are talking about disintegrated ecosystem. So that again, IoT based payment will also be a very, very important factor going forward, which we have not seen so far. Beyond that, we are not talking about integrating businesses together. Everything works in isolation. I mean, every single business talks in isolation to each other. They have different ERPs, they have different payment method, they have different agile structure that they are following. uh, Nothing is standard across. I would say that learning from UPI that we have right now, India's learning curve will be way faster than the global digital learning curve that they may come across, because uh, our digital payment tech is completely democratic in nature. That means innovation can happen at any corner. It doesn't have to be in hands of NPCI alone. So what I see is that in next 4 to 5 years, the innovators will multiply, uh, newer tech will come, deep tech will have a larger role to play. Gen AI will definitely start learning the mistakes in the ecosystem and start giving you better output. uh, Deeper integration of payment, embedded, IoT, ERP, you call it anything, that will also pave the way for payment to be completely automated. You may not need app going forward. It may be just your human interaction which will be key for you to make payment against the buying experience that people would want. I would say innovators would want customers to go through. So I see next 5 years, all of these changes are bound to come. We cannot predefine. Digital currency will play a very important role if executed well, because that's a great change altogether. Cross border is something where a lot of innovation is expected. However, compliances and the concerns of the regulator are something that needs to be met in maybe next 2 to 3 years, focusing on policies and processes. If that is taken care, the seamlessness in cross border is something that people would like to work on. So these are some quick areas, efforts that I see going forward in next 5 years coming up.
Definitely, sir. Thank you so much for sharing all the insights. We are already getting a wealth of information from this show with you. You have mentioned the emerging technologies that are definitely going to make the way in the future. And it also includes Gen AI or AI and blockchain and IoT, of course. So, These three are often thought as or attributed as the game changers in the fintech space so far. So, can you share some examples or of how NPST is leveraging these, or also in future planning to leverage these more to integrate these into its solutions, etc. We would love to know on that.
See, IoT, we have already started working. We have already started building a lot of use cases, but it's way too early to talk about that. When it comes to embedded payment, we have been working on several partner relation model, wherein, like I said, the ownership of the platform is with someone else, but deeper and tighter integration of payment into that platform, wherein payment is taken care by the platform itself. It is not a third party solution. That is something that we believe is core. NPST is working on that. We are working on several new use cases in the market, which can be empowered with the current digital tech that we have, and what more can be done. The interesting piece is we are also going beyond what exactly we have, with the point that uh, the payment at current nature for to solve certain use cases may not work. In that case, what are the better way to get the payment executed in those spaces? So IoT embedded. Apart from this, we also believe that the game changer around ledger decision on digital currency is really big. That can empower offline payment, so that is something that we are working right now. Apart from this, Gen AI, I believe, is we are right now working on the risk profiling and protecting the digital payment ecosystem with Gen AI. Like I said, earlier also, if UPI is a blue-eyed guy, then it is important that we protect it well. That is where NPST is working very closely with the market players, right from banks to payment aggregator to direct merchants. We have built a RegTech such that there are several new uh, hygiene factors from the industry, or I would say there are several AI based learning process for the payment analytics and the pattern study and the behavior study, which was completely missing, that we have brought into the system, and we have built this as a protective layer over digital payment. So I'm proud to say that we are one of the only entity which has such depth of information and control around what exactly has been made available in the industry. uh, so we can actually pave the way, we can actually be the first mover, and we can actually light the new roadmap through the rec tech that we have built so far. So these are few things that we are working on right now.
That is great, and we are very hopeful about the outcomes of the things that you're working on right now. We really hope everything turns out in benefit for the nation. On the same note, with India's rapidly evolving regulatory landscape for fintech, have you experienced any unexpected regulatory hurdles that forced NPST to pivot its approach? And how do you see the industry adopting to the upcoming compliance changes? We would love to know, details and thoughts on these.
Well, we did not come across, we are not a regulated entity to come across a direct hurdle. However, our customer has definitely had certain experience and challenge, majorly around, around being in payment space. Uh, you know, how exactly the evolution of the challenges, is anticipated in the payment ecosystem, that is not known to the industry. So that evolution will only come as and when there are cases which are identified and improved. So right now, I wouldn't say that the impact is direct, but the impact is definitely indirect. What we have come across is the acquiring ecosystem, where we have built the entire uh, solution around, how do we empower fintechs, or how do we empower payment aggregator through a bank platform. When, as a technology provider, we work between the two, uh, the compliance becomes extremely critical. So we came across a hurdle couple of months back. However, we are seeing that the traction has come up really well now. There are multiple banks going into acquiring space. It opens up opportunity for us. It opens up a lot of new avenues of growth for the organization and the ecosystem as a whole. It will de-risk the entire dependency on few of the acquiring banks and bring many new acquiring banks in the ecosystem. So what this is essentially doing is, the entire ecosystem will be empowered with more banks as such, and that is where NPST will play an important role, bridging the gap between banks and fintech. So that is what I see further. Compliance, I would say that are much stronger and much better right now, and it's important to get more clarity around compliances. Those who would like to skip it, they will not survive. They are not the actors in the ecosystem for the short term gain. Those who are not clear about such compliances are the ones they need guiding, are the ones they need hand holding, control. I believe as and when the compliance gets clearer around the fintech ecosystem, there is much stronger environment, or I would say there is much stronger actors and players who would come and ensure that such kind of controls only evolve and strengthens the overall transaction and the overall acquiring ecosystem that we are seeing right now.
Thank you so much, sir. So, India's digital payment sector is booming, but the global markets also present opportunities. What are the plans that NPSC has in its roadmap so as to expand to international markets, if any? And which kind of markets would excite the organization the most? We are very curious to know on that.
So we have already stepped up. We have decided to venture into the Middle East market first, because we believe that the geopolitical situation, the uh, the the kind of population that we are dealing with, kind of people we deal in MENA region, Middle East and North Africa, uh, the kind of policies adopted by the central banks in those countries, all taken together, it becomes easier to not replicate alone, but to build something for that particular market with India's experience. So Middle East is the first step. Then definitely comes Africa, and then Southeast Asia. So these are areas which is easily replicable. I would say learning from India market and executing it there. This is one. Secondly, it is also important that the product stack that we are working in, the solution that we are working in, has a lot of deeper penetration around the requirement of these regions. Before that, what exactly we need to modify, where exactly we need to venture, the solutioning piece for those particular specific markets, that is where NPST is invested right now. So we are at that stage wherein we are making an entry into these particular regions. We have come across the challenges of product design being bit different as per their local requirement versus what we have. So that's the upgrade that we are currently doing. So yeah, starting from Middle East, then Africa, then Southeast Asia, that's how we prioritize, and reshaping the entire the product based on the local requirement. So that's what we are into right now. So we have already ventured into this space. It may take at least a year for us to actually see the success.
Great. So, thank you for sharing all the insights, sir. We come down to the very end of our, talk, and in this very last segment, before we let you go, we have one more question that we ask to all our guests who come on the show, which is to share with us one piece of exclusive information that hasn't been revealed on any platform yet, only exclusively for Elit's Fintech Dialogue series audience. So, if we could have a sneak peek into some of the upcoming plans and something that you can share exclusively with our audience, that would be very great. And I intentionally didn't share you this question before because we wanted to keep it very spontaneous. So we would love to know that from you.
Ah, so very first thing, we being listed on NSE, there is nothing hidden. Anything and everything we do transparently, it is available for our shareholders. As per the clause, wherever there is a material impact, or wherever there is there is an information required by the shareholders, because we are a public listed company that goes on NSE. So mostly all of the information is available on public forum. Uh, all I can think about is product roadmap. We have been working aggressively. This is also known, I think, but I may rather would like to emphasize on this, that for last 3 to 4 months we have been very aggressive on the B2C space as well, which was never our forte. But as an organization, we have taken decision to start exploring the B2C space. We have a product called as TimePay. Uh, we are trying to work really, focused around bringing the experience from an India make product completely. Right from the technology, the experience, the focus on the rural penetration, the focus on solving the payment related challenges for the segment which has been excluded so far. So all said and done, NPST is venturing into B2C, not a new news, however, an emphasized information for ELETs, wherein we'll be focusing on the payment application of our own, ensuring that this particular leg of financial journey is also taken care. And we live with our vision of providing digital technology across financial value chain. So we were in the first value chain between NPC and bank. We are in the second value chain between bank and fintech. Now it is about being at the last mile of the customer. Maybe next 6 months we should be able to sail through that journey.
And we wish you all the best for that. Thank you so much for the exclusive insights and amazing information that you shared with us throughout the show. It was such a pleasure to have you with us, Mr. Deepak Chand Thakur, co-founder NPST. Thank you so much, sir. We come down to the very end of our discussion. I would like to thank our audience for staying with us till the very end. If you would like to ask any questions to Mr. Deepak, please feel free to leave those in the comments down below. We would make sure to get you your answers through him. Also, if you have any specific organizations or entrepreneurs that you would like to have on our show, also leave your suggestions down in the comments. With that, we will sign off now. Sir, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure talking to you. I wish we had more time. But with that, stay informed with us on the latest financial technologies at ELET's Fintech Dialogues. We sign off now. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you.